Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Say Report. I'm your host, Devon Decker, and joining me, my host companion, Sejohn Serwick. Hi, Sejohn. I'm so sorry
for
being all giggly.
Your mic tests are getting weirder and weirder, man.
Yeah, that was, I wish that it were recorded. It wasn't. But I had a nice ripper of a burp. I gotta tell you, I've had that burp stuck in me since Thursday. Because you know what I did on Thursday? This is the show. First of all, hi, Sejohn. I feel like I haven't seen you in forever.
I know. It's finally livable in the mountains of Utah, so I'm back home.
Dude, I slept without an air conditioner last night, and as I was taking out the trash at midnight, because I just lost track of time yesterday, not complaining about it. But, I'm like, if summer's over and this is the weather now, I'll be very happy. Like, it's real nice right now. It's not stifling hot. It's enjoyable. I want to do things outside again. And of course, by saying this into this microphone, this cursed microphone that I got from the Needful Things shop, or the shop from Friday the 13th, the television series, which had nothing to do with Jason.
Well, the first episode did.
I guess it's true. I've now not only tempted, but dared fate to prove me wrong. So when temperatures somehow double to like 200 degrees Fahrenheit in a week or so, you'll know who to blame. Sejohn for not stopping me.
I mean, look, man. It's crazy all over this. You're not wrong. The world is getting a little bit wilder every fucking day, and I'm getting a little sick of it. I want one day where nothing happens.
Right. Well, that's what this episode can be, because even though we haven't recorded an episode in what feels like forever, which is just blatantly not true. It's only been 10 days since we've recorded, but it feels like forever, because just so many of those days have been endurance trials. Sorry. I'd like to share what I did on Thursday, because it was my first time doing it. And I went to K-Pot Korean Barbecue. Now, yes, it's a chain, but the people I were with were like, we're going to K-Pot because we're in southern Connecticut. Connecticut fucks with my head, man. I know I'm going south, but the souther I go, the norther I feel like I'm going, which is just blatantly incorrect. I know that. And
I couldn't even begin to wrap my head around why that would even be a thing.
Because we're heading west as well. So it's all relative in my mind. Because we're close to parts of Massachusetts that I associate with being north from where I live.
Right. Yeah. Massachusetts is north of Rhode Island, which is not true. It's northwest of Rhode Island.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. But yeah. No, I see what you mean. No, the tri-state portal of Connecticut and Massachusetts and Rhode Island highways is insane. Like, you can go the wrong way on one of them and still be okay, because in an extra 30 minutes you'll just be in the right direction again. With it's fucking nuts.
Yeah, they're all loopy and stuff. I'm just like, I don't know what's
exactly
happening.
I try and explain that to people out here, because I don't know if I've said this on the show before, but there is one highway in Utah, right? Okay, so there's the 15, right? And it basically runs down the side of the mountains, and you get to everything off of 15 in some way. Mm-hmm. There's smaller offshoot highways here and there, but the highway is 15, right?
So
it's just a straight ass line.
So my question is that a state route or is that an interstate route?
I think it's an interstate.
Okay, so Interstate 15, and I've never been to Utah, right? As far as I know, you live in a mythical land. You could live in Narnia for all I fucking know. I don't know why that was an unnecessary
the fact that it basically what it does is the 15 splits the mountains on one side, the desert on the other, right? Like, that's just kind of the way that it goes. It becomes very flat on the other side, and then eventually you get out into the dunes and shit. It's but because of that, it's hard to explain to people that I'm used to having a billion different ways of getting places. When I was in Rhode Island, when I was growing up in Rhode Island, and even when I was working in Mass and stuff like that, the idea that it's it's 5 o'clock. Everybody's getting off of work, so I'm not going to take Mass Ave. I'll take these 3 other routes I can probably take and get there faster. And the fact that like you just can't do that out here. Like taking any other route to get anywhere besides the highway, even at its worst traffic, is like it's insane because you have to go all the way out to fucking Antelope Island and back. It's crazy. Like, and travel in Utah is a bummer, but we actually just did a road trip this last week because we had to get out of the fucking heat. and yeah, we went just south a little bit. We hit Tennessee. It was
Tennessee. You went to Tennessee from Utah? Like just on a whim? That's crazy.
We just needed to get out, man. Like I'm not kidding. It's been so bad out here. Like the heat has been awful. Just a little inside baseball. Like one of the big things that happened over the last 10 days is I had a phone cook on me. So like I wasn't even able to keep in touch with you for part of the reason that it feels like we haven't talked in so long is because we really haven't, because I didn't have access to Discord and shit where I was, and my phone left it on the shore for 15 minutes while I just went and took a dip in the lake because God, it was so fucking hot down there too. Yeah. But at least down there, like the central air is like a given, which is not necessarily the case in Utah, which is weird. But so I leave my phone on the shore, dip into the lake, come out 15 minutes later, and I forgot to cover it, so it's like cooking like crazy. So I throw it into the car so that it's at least out of the sun, and we get to driving. And I think because the air conditioner then in the car and how hot it was, all of this condensation suddenly built up inside of it, because you can see in like the camera lens and under the screen and stuff, there's just all of this condensation, and the thing is just screwed. It just wouldn't turn back on. So like, I don't know if it was the heat itself that killed it or if it was the attempt to save it afterwards that then actually did more damage. I don't know, but luckily I am set back up and all that. Google's really good about getting shit to you quick when you order stuff, but it was man, yeah. Sorry, you were in the middle of the story.
I was just crazy. No, you bring it up. Good point. I felt weird like being at I could not get back to where I was on Thursday. Is I think like the truest thing, because I'm like, well, I know it's near 91. I know it's near Interstate 91, and I know how I would get to 91 from where I am. But the people I was with, they ended up taking like roads I didn't even know existed in Connecticut. This is the thing with having friends who live in other states. They know the like local ways, right? Exactly what you were talking about with like, right. I'm not going to go Mass Ave because I know I can go around. I can avoid it. And Mass Ave is where everybody goes. So we did a lot of like driving on roads I just didn't know existed. Which actually, I should have led with this, but it seems like a nice segue. Reagan wanted to make sure that I told everybody she was not a collegiate level swimmer. She only swam in high school. I apparently trumped that up a little bit in the last episode. So, yeah. But still,
I don't know if we should apologize or
just move on from it. Well, I was informed by multiple people that she only swam in high school. So it felt like, okay, well, I'll make sure I get on that. Apologies for
your snowflakes get triggered.
No, don't do that. But you know what's actually really crazy about that is to think of that like the drafting and the like swimming in leggings and stuff is a high school swimming technique, not exclusive to collegiate level swimming. Like I didn't realize just how crazy swimming was as a sport. And
remember my roommate freshman year, Roman? That was the sport that he played in high school, and he like the idea of being completely shaven was something that he was very happy to talk about with people.
Well, it made him a bit exotic, right? Do you want to feel like you're sleeping with a 12-year-old? I'm all shaved.
That kid was the best roommate I could have personally had freshman year, and I was probably the worst he could have had. So, like, that is where that relationship stands. But I got to tell you, that dude, he has always been a little weird. And like, maybe that's what you need. Maybe that's what you need, a roommate. You need somebody that just like, there's just one thing about him that you just don't get. And there's definitely, there was a couple of quirks about Roman that I was just like, sure, man. Yeah. Like, like,
Okay.
I don't want to yuck yum. Whatever makes you happy.
That's beautiful. I do love this story for just the beauty of it. Do you speak to your freshman college roommate anymore? Is just the question I'm going to transition into. Because I sure as hell don't communicate with any of mine. And not because one of them went missing. Like, he just disappeared.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, no, I don't much anymore. You know, and like, it's not... You know, it feels like a bit of a loss because, like I said, the kid was like, he was a cool guy. Like, I really and he was the one that ended up in the engineering house that I talk about all the time. So like brought me into that world too. So like, that's cool, and like all that. And but I was actually just going through this with the family, with all of the shit that's been going on and all of the life events and stuff like that. We wanted to let like people know, and we had to sit down and have a real conversation about which one of us was gonna reactivate a Facebook, because none of us have it anymore, and nobody's on Twitter or anything that we know. We realized the best way to let people know anything was friggin' Instagram, which is, I think, becoming kind of the fallback for a lot of people, at least in our generation, is that Instagram is like that one social media app that still hasn't gotten too out of hand. There's definitely some criticism for the way in which the social aspects of that are still toxic, but it's the one that, like, it's at least the underdog right now. Nobody's really talking about Instagram in the ways that they talk about Facebook or they talk about Twitter, you know,
which is crazy because Instagram is just Facebook, but only pictures. Like, it's owned by Meta. But so
it is even owned by Meta. Yeah, right.
It's weird that, like, it's not getting the same scrutiny as, say, Facebook, but it's like, it kind of should be. But I guess what we've all realized, because I agree with you, I 100% agree with you, we've all realized we need a way on social media to stay connected to people, and Instagram is the one that will hurt us the least. Mostly because you can't put that much information into Instagram. Like, and maybe I'm wrong on that.
It's two sides of that coin, right?
Yeah.
No. That's one of the big things. It is much more limited in the amount of information that can be there. Not completely. Like, obviously, there's definitely ways you can dox yourself and figure and, you know, all that shit. But it's one of the least intrusive social medias. But that's, you know, the bar isn't held. So like, take that for what it is. But the other side of that is that it's also really easy to curate a whole bunch of stuff on who can actually view your shit. Instagram inherently had, before I think Meta got its grubby little paws on it, just a ton of user-friendly security things that, you know, the blocking people was a breeze on it, right? And blocking them, unlike Facebook, where like for a long time blocking somebody just meant that they couldn't see your shit, but like if you posted on somebody else's thing, they came around to blocking to fixing that eventually. And then, you know, I don't know Facebook right now, so I don't know if that shit's completely gone, but the last time I was on, it was still a little bit of a gamble whether or not you were ever going to be able to get away from somebody you didn't want to, you know, see on Facebook. Inevitably some picture would come up or some connection would come up, and you'd be back in a conversation with somebody that you had been avoiding. You know, it's part of the reason that I left Facebook. One of the big reasons I left Facebook is I couldn't stop hearing from people I didn't want to hear from, you know. And Instagram, funny enough, is like I've blocked, I think, even those same people in that case, and I've never seen a photo, I've never seen a friend, I've never seen a comment. So like, Instagram just inherently, I believe, had much more user-friendly security measures. Tie that to the fact that it also is not asking for that much information, and again, it becomes one of the more secure social media sites. But again, that's not a high bar to clear.
No, exactly. That bar is so low, even the great Hermes Conrad could not limbo under it, my friend. That's
I mean, Snapchat and the promise of Snapchat, and then the realization of the bullshit that it was promising, really kind of killed any sense of security for me or privacy for me on social media. Because like, the idea with Snapchat was supposed to be that like, you take this picture, you send it to someone, it only exists for that time that they view it, and then after that it's gone. Right, like, and then they did videos, and then those would last like for 10 seconds or something. Yeah. But the idea with Snapchat was supposed to be, the reason why the Snapchat thing was a ghost was because that it would disappear.
Yeah.
It would just get like, it wouldn't be a thing
Goodbye.
anymore. And we learned real quick that there were so many ways around that, and people were trying to do some stuff on Snapchat that they thought wasn't going to be able to haunt them. And here we are. There's stuff that we still see from Snapchat back in the day.
Turns out that ghost logo was two-sided. It was a double entendre logo. Anyways, what'd you ask? What'd you say?
Is Snapchat even still around? Like, is it still functional? Yeah. I know nobody's really using it. But.
Totally still around. Snapchat is basically where I said, stop the internet, I want to get off. Which is, like, so not true. Because I'm still on Twitter. I have a Blue Sky, and that happened after. I mean, I don't really use my Blue Sky. I have an Instagram. But when Snapchat came along, I'm like, you know what? This is for the children. No, I'm not getting involved in this. Mostly because all of those ways that it could be taken advantage of, like, immediately I'm like, can I just take a screenshot? Couldn't I take a photo of my phone with something else? Like, it was still new enough at a time where it felt like there are ways around this. Once you send it, it's gone sort of technology. And I have met people. I've met human beings in real life who I'm like, oh, that might be a friendship worth, like, following. And, like, I'll exchange information, but they're like, are you on Snapchat? And I'm like, no, I'm not. And they're like, oh, so we're never going to see each other again. Because I almost exclusively use Snapchat. And I'm like,
oh,
yep, yeah, and I'm not getting on that. That is just a desert that I am not interested in exploring. I don't care if I can move my rhythms to not alert the sandworms. I don't want to go there. Snapchat
is like really granular about it. Like, what Snapchat was really trying to the hole it was trying to plug in the dam was actually some very specific ones in regards to, like, phones getting hacked and stuff getting out there that wasn't necessarily being responsible for somebody in the actual conversation, right? The third party intervention was really what Snapchat was trying to be secure with. But people then forgot that also, like, like, first and second party, like, those people are assholes too sometimes, So, like, there was just this whole, like, idea that, yeah, so this thing isn't going to be saved on your phone anywhere. It's not going to be accessible later on. So if anything ever happens, if you lose your phone, sell your phone, somebody hacks your phone, those photos won't be there to put anybody in danger. And that's great. But we seemed to then somehow think that also included the people we were directly sending shit to, and that was never, I think, the intention. But to be clear, Snapchat definitely leaned into that eventually and definitely sold itself like that.
Oh yeah, it was 100% just one of those things. Like, it came along and I'm like, nope, no. I'll stick with AOL Instant Messenger, thank you. How old is Snapchat is now a question I want an answer to. So you talk amongst
I bet it was around
Sejohn.
I bet it was around in, like, 2009 or something, and it just didn't become popular until, like, 2014, maybe?
See.
2013?
2011. September 2011. It is 14 years old. You know what else is crazy ages? This is something that, like, just hit my mind this year. Remember the film Boyhood? Richard Linklater's Boyhood? Yeah. How long did it take Linklater to make that film? Do you know how long it took?
Wasn't it 30 years?
It's 12 years. And in 2026, it has been 12 years since Boyhood released. Boyhood could have created another Boyhood since the release of Boyhood.
Boyhood 2.
Manhood, right? Like, I guess that's what it would be, right? If you still follow that same kid. I just, like, that occurred to me, like, someone's like, oh, like, I was talking about Richard Linklater projects that I haven't seen. I don't remember what we were talking about. They're like, has he even done anything recently? And I'm like, he just did Blue Moon, right? Did Ethan Hawke get nominated for an Oscar for his performance? Yeah, he's still doing stuff. And they're like, oh, have you seen Slacker? And I'm like, no. The two Richard Linklater films that I have not seen are Slacker and Me and Orson Welles. Which is also just not true, because it turns out he's got just a bunch of things I did not realize were him. But like the ones that have like made press, I've seen most of those, but I'm nowhere near a Richard Linklater completionist. And then the follow up to those being the two I missed, then like, oh, you missed Orson Welles, but you saw Boyhood, and I'm like, yeah, but they weren't the same year. Boyhood was like 2014. That was 12 years ago. I need to go lay down because I can't. Because I'm like, because very famously, like they shot like a month out of every 12 years. They shot for a month every 12 years,
yeah.
And I'm like, I can't believe Boyhood is the age of like. Boyhood, it's just weird to me. And this is how I talk about it on the show. To go back to the Korean barbecue thing and that burp that I released, not on microphone, I got the spicy Szechuan hot pot, and it messed with my body just a little bit. The food I ate was delicious. The one of the people who was cooking for us was doing so well on the little barbecue. Like someone who worked there came over and is like, I hate this stuff, but this smells so good. Like you work at a Korean barbecue, you must hate Korean barbecue. I can't imagine that's like a thing that you begin to enjoy. I mean, it's not like Dunkin' Donuts where like when I worked at Dunkin' Donuts, it was for 28 days, and I never became someone who hated Dunkin' Donuts. But I mean, like when you're working at a food place like that, like not lower quality, but just like pungent is the terminology I would use. I have to imagine that like you either fall deeper in love with it or you begin to hate it and you never want to eat it again.
Here's the thing. As somebody that has worked in a couple of kitchens in their life, you end up hating the food wherever you work just because you kind of know what's going into it.
Yes.
It doesn't have anything to do with like the type of food it is. It doesn't matter because it's going to be, you just know what's going into making it. And there's two ways that can really go, right? It either breaks bad and you know how horrible it is, or you know, there's an art to it and that's great, but it's just, in that case, so much work. It's just not fun anymore, you know? And so it becomes kind of this curse to like work in the food industry because, you know, it's hard to maintain that love of food while working with it so much all the time. I think that's why we like these movies and television shows about chefs that do love it, because the idea is that they're enduring that, right, and still finding joy and love in their work. Like, I think there's a really real story there about people that work in the food industry. So like, what I'm saying is I wouldn't point that just at Korean barbecue.
No, I wouldn't, but I'm just saying it's one of those. I've only ever worked my only food service experience was that 28 days at Dunkin' Donuts, where I was just completely lost, needed a job, and like took an overnight baker position at Dunkin' Donuts with the explicit thing, I'm working here from February 1st to February 28th, and in those 28 days I will figure out the trajectory that my life will follow. And that weirdly worked for me. I don't know a lot of people who say something like that who then like figure out what their next step is. But it worked for me. It did work for me. But I never got to the point where I would hate it. However, I have not had to avoid lettuce during the whole explosive diarrhea cytosporastic thing that's been going on in the country. Because in 2003, a friend of mine worked at Wendy's and he cut his finger while cutting the lettuce, and he went to go get a Band-Aid, and the manager said, oh, no. You finish cutting the lettuce, and then you could deal with your bloody finger. So I'm only going to eat greens that I prepare. At that point, I know that not everywhere is this specific Wendy's, but that grossed me the fuck out.
Well, it only takes it to happen once, right? Like there's like it's yeah. The whole cursed greens thing. This is like the third time this has happened in like the last 10 years, I think.
Yeah.
Right? Like there was, So I'm just kind of at that point already, just because of just this kind of shit happening over and over again, and it sucks because as somebody that is like actively working on trying to like get his body right. Like the idea that, oh, by the way, like don't touch greens for the next week and a half while we figure this out. And I'm not going to hand wave like the fact that this exact thing was actually being tracked by a very specific group in the government that, lo and behold, had gotten cut in I think in the Doge.
Yeah, they were part of the Doge.
Specific.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like the idea that like, hey, if they had been here, we probably could have gotten this resolved much quicker, and like, that's to me just fact. Like I'm so confused why so many people out there are like saying like, no, this would have happened anyway, and it's like, well, right, we can't just like stop a breakout before it happens, but what we can do is we can mitigate. Yeah. That's what the point is. And it's like, did you not understand that that's what these things were doing? They were mitigating a problem. They weren't trying to solve it. They couldn't solve it. There's no way to solve it. But the police, but if we could just make the damage as little as possible, like that is the key. And it's between the weather, giving you climate change anxiety, and now the food regulations being lax, giving you food like I don't even want to go out anywhere. Like we are fucking a generation of people up between leaving them at home during COVID and like
I mean, not only that, like more and more we're also learning how fucked our generation is, right?
Oh yeah.
Gen Alpha, yes, certainly fucked. Gen Z, certainly fucked, but also we're pretty fucked too as millennials. Undeniable facts. And see, just dancing around it, I'm gonna say it's the FDA. And the really sad thing about it is that, like, yeah, it was part of the whole Doge, like, trying to make the government more efficient, so let's get rid of the Food and Drug Administration. But even prior to them completely being, like, dissolved, right? Like, they don't exist anymore. Right? That's the level that they took it to. I need to actually check that out.
I think the team that was responsible for this kind of response is definitely gone. I think that's the key. And the FDA may be one of those ones where they don't have an active commissioner right now. Yeah. So they're all acting like they can't do anything and their hands are tied until they get a commissioner in there. But of course, it's an appointed position. Right. So like
we're not going to appoint somebody. Yeah,
appoint some. Right. It's like let's not appoint somebody so that this thing is essentially just frozen.
But even prior to that, I think that's what it is, right? Because it still exists. They just don't have somebody who's like regulating it, so they're just there. But even prior to that, the FDA was overwhelmed with the amount of work that they just had to deal with. They were always understaffed, and they were always playing catch-up. Like, you say that we couldn't have prevented it. The reason we couldn't have prevented it is that we never fed this program that could have led to prevention. Like, they could track and they could mitigate, but we never gave them the tools to outright be able to avoid these things from happening.
Yeah.
And that's just the sad fact of that situation. Wow, that's fun. This is fun that we're talking about. But yeah, so I ate that food and it was really spicy and it was delicious. And again, like I've been feeling it in my chest since lunch on Thursday. I didn't even eat dinner on Thursday night. I usually go out to a little seaside bar. And the past 2 weeks, they have been out of, by the time I got there, they do these nice thick clam strips. And I'm talking thick. You'd think it's like calamari, but it's clam. So good. They've been sold out the past 2 weeks. I went this week. They're like, we got clam strips in stock. Can I get you an order? And I'm like, no, I can't eat anymore. I feel like I fucked myself up with whatever I put inside of me at Korean barbecue.
Korean barbecue is a gut bomb. I will say, if you're not used to eating that kind of like that level of like richness and spice in certain things, like it is a test of your system.
Yeah. Luckily, it was only a test of like my upper digestive system. It never moved like lower than my trachea. Well, trachea is how you breathe. So my esophagus, like my esophageal area was like, this was different. Huh? Are we okay? I was able to mitigate any other system issues. Though, who knows, now that it's been freed up with the burp, All that stuff could be traveling downtown. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Oh man, yeah. No, I just me and some friends just did a Colombian place
Nice.
down south of us. We basically went in and bought one of everything off the menu and just sat there for 2 hours getting caught up, just eating some delicious Colombian food. They had the biggest thing that I was like really wanted to try was they had this like ceviche, but instead of being made with fish, it was cooked and what's it called? Panko with like panko on it. Just these like pork fat bits.
All right.
Right. So then that was just in the ceviche with it was so good. And then they serve it with like a giant ass plantain chip that you like break up, and it was amazing. But there was all sorts of good shit. Like they really had some bomb empanadas and stuff. And so we had been talking about wanting to try this place for so long because they've been at the Salt Lake City like food festival that they have every year, which is this awesome like event that they hold at a brewery downtown, and vendors from all over come and just give out free samples of their food. And like, so you pay like $20 to get into the event, but you eat more than $20 worth of food just walking around, and it's just so good. And this place has been at every one of them. So like we were determined to try this place, and so we just decided to pick it up and go down yesterday. And oh my god, we ate so much food. I just like you said, I didn't have to eat dinner. Like I came home and I was like, all right, it's technically only 4:00, but I already know I'm not. It's like dinner is not something I have to worry about tonight.
Nice. That's awesome. Cool. Very cool. I'm a little jealous, but I did get to have that Korean barbecue and try that for the first time, and it was very, very good. Even for being like, it was a brand new restaurant. Like they had recently opened, like within a month, so it was still clean. Like I don't know if those places, I didn't realize how much of it was just like an all-you-can-eat sort of situation. Like we had 2 hours on the clock to eat as much food as possible, which was fine because I hadn't really had breakfast. I got a breakfast sandwich, and they didn't cook the bagel, and that was awful. I don't know if you've ever tried to eat an uncooked bagel. Like it was cooked, but then it wasn't like heated up. Like it was just that dense bagel flesh.
You mean it just wasn't toasted, or it wasn't?
So like you cook the bagel, right? All bagels are baked, but then like they sit on the shelf and they're dense. They're dense. I don't know why I said it like that.
Well, so one of the important things to remember is that real bagels are boiled, right, and then they get baked in order to form that hard shell around them. And a lot of places, like supermarkets, they don't tend to do the boiling part. They tend to just do the baking part. And it's what the difference is between a supermarket bagel and like a really good one. If you've ever wondered why, is because they're not doing that like kind of rather important step to what makes an actual bagel a bagel.
Well, let me
so
tell
is that
you.
what you're talking about?
So it's like that. So yeah, because I mean, I was at Dunkin' Donuts. What the hell? I'll blow up Dunkin' Donuts spot. I worked there for 28 days, and I know what it is because they're like it's just frozen dough, and then what you have to do is spray them. Like you have a spray bottle, and they're like, just spray the fuck out of these, so that like it emulates the boiling while it cooks.
Right.
But that's all it's doing is that it's emulating. But even a bagel that's boiled like that way, when you go to eat the bagel, there's a reason why you toast them, right? Like it does change sort of the molecular structure of it and makes it easier to eat. Like they was not like there's a reason why day old bagels are trash, right? Because if you don't eat them when they're there, they'd like slowly turn into concrete. And
they're like the avocado of the baked goods world. Like there's like a specific moment that it is the perfect time to eat it. You're not going to be there for it, so you got to try and get as close to that as you can.
And I was the furthest from it with my breakfast sandwich on Thursday. Like I'm just like, what? Yeah. Like
Look,
what did I?
As somebody that will eat an untoasted bagel, like I know what you mean by there being that, but But man, yeah, no, a good like toasted with a little bit of butter on it, using that to make any sandwich, like
yeah, it changes it. It's
grilled
just
cheese with bacon in there.
Oh,
fuck yeah.
I mean, what made it worse was the fact that the bagel was so awful because like it hadn't been toasted. There's no way that it had been toasted, but then all the stuff on the inside was still warm. So it's just like this is the most unsettling situation ever. Because, like, I take a bite and it's cold, 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 chewy, hard. Oh, there's some heat in the middle. It was like the worst gusher I'd ever eaten. So I was pretty happy that I got to then fill myself with Korean barbecue, not knowing that there would be ramifications that would be ongoing for at least 4 more days. Now I'm afraid, Sejohn. I've made myself afraid.
Great. We can pause it anytime, man.
Speaking of unknown ramifications, guess what I saw this week, Sejohn? That was a good segue, but like, there's too many answers to that question.
You need to you got to pick one then, man, because I'm not gonna guess.
I saw the Odyssey. I saw Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. I gotta tell you, I didn't really have any desire to see the movie. And not for any, like, there's a bunch of reasons out there that people are, like, boycotting The Odyssey, which has led to my favorite everybody has shared on social media meme of, if people are upset about LGBTIQ representation in Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, they're gonna want to kill themselves when they find out about actual ancient Greece. Like... yeah, you're not wrong, right? That's a good point there. And that's not the reason. The reason's just like, I know the story of the Odyssey. So I wasn't like in any rush to go watch the Odyssey again as just the Odyssey, if that makes sense. Like I love like an Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Where it's like the Odyssey, but in like the 1920s South. That is awesome. Like, that's really cool, because you're hearing this
talking about a good hook.
Yeah. And I did not think...
And this one just didn't have a good hook for you. That's fair. Well, because I think the hook this time is just, it's Christopher Nolan. And so if you're not, like, on board for that, then this movie's not really going to, like, hit you.
It turns out the actual hook, potential spoilers for the Odyssey, based on the cast. This is just about the cast, because all I knew who was in this movie was Matt Damon and Tom Holland. Like, that's who I knew was in the movie. I did not know that there were other people, like, in the movie. It turns out that I've been referring to Spider-Man Brand New Day as Spider-Man 9, and I still think it is Spider-Man 9. But this is kind of like another Avengers movie that features Spider-Man. Because, like, John Bernthal's there. He's going to be in Spider-Man 9 when I see it this coming weekend. Zendaya's there. She's going to be in Spider-Man 9 when I see it. Tom Holland is Spider-Man in Spider-Man 9. Like, I'm like, there's so much Spider-Man in this Odyssey film. I will be disappointed if at the end of this movie, Nick Fury does not show up and try to recruit Odysseus to the freaking Avengers Initiative. It didn't happen, though. There's nothing after the credits of the Odyssey. I'm not surprised by that, because the Odyssey ended, and I'm like, yeah, but it's fun to watch I like watching the credits. I know I might be crazy for that, but I enjoy it. It's fun to see it. And turns out that's why I haven't seen Scarlet Letters in a bunch of like movies this year, despite having gone to the theater as much as I have. They've been busy working on the end credits for the Odyssey, which were almost as long as the 3-hour movie. No, I kid, but
man. But I'm trying to remember what follows in terms of, I'm not caught up on my classics. I think the story of Ajax comes after the story of Odysseus. Like, I think because that comes from after the wars. I was just trying to think of what the after credit scene would be. Like, what would the introduction be?
I mean, that's a good thought. I don't know. I mean, because he's there for the Trojan War. So I don't know if he'd be there. But I mean, I would be all right with that. It'd be great if there was something. It was just fun to joke that there would be an after credit scene after the Odyssey, because people left that theater so fast. I have never seen. First of all, I have no problem. Make your movie 4, 5, 6 hours long. That does not bother me as somebody who's going to sit there and watch the film. I will say that. However, we need to go back to shorter films because other people cannot do it. They cannot sit through these long movies. I think me and Dale might have been the only people in that theater who did not get up or leave the theater. It was insane. It felt like rush hour at a subway station. Just the amount of people who kept getting up and leaving. Like, no scene was safe. No scene was safe.
People are not used to... Yeah, but it's the thing nowadays, man. Everybody's so used to watching stuff at home that where they can pause, get up, get a drink, do whatever they want, that, like, there's no reverence to the experience, you know what I mean? Like, there's no... And that's, that sounded more negative than I meant it. But, like, this idea that sitting down and just experiencing the film in just one big piece is just not part of the math anymore for people. It doesn't. There are people that would gladly miss 5 minutes of a movie at their, at the chance to go get another Pepsi. Like, that's just where they feel they're at now with movie watching, and like, Hollywood has done that to themselves. Like, I get what you mean. Like, it is a bummer that nobody can sit through a damn movie anymore. But, like, Hollywood just, like, shot themselves in the foot with so many things that they were doing off screen, trying to figure out how to, like, how can we keep people invested outside of the movie? And then what they didn't realize is they were encouraging people to stop paying attention to the movie.
Yeah. I mean, and there's also, like, the 80s and the 90s and the whole, like, film is expensive and we're running out of it, so we're going to try to mitigate the length of films. Like, my mother, now, if a movie is 90 minutes, that is the way that she'll be on board. I think that she should see the Odyssey. And this is all I'm going to say about the Odyssey, because it's still out there. It's still selling out its IMAX screenings, which is crazy to me. IMAX tickets on eBay. Let's see how much they are right now, because I know how much they were going for, like, on Friday. eBay.com. Let's see. Odyssey in IMAX. I spelled Odyssey with an I. That's just me not knowing how to type, though. That's not me there. No, Odyssey in IMAX ticket. Let's see if they're still available. Lincoln Square seat this coming Monday at 2 p.m. So the day that this episode releases, $105 or best offer. I don't know how much that ticket cost before that. Also, oh my God, where you're located, you're in the front row. Oh my God. That is like the worst possible place for that. $400, Odyssey and IMAX 70mm, Lincoln Square. This is on August 10th at 10 a.m. You're in J23. $400. Like, jeez. Like that, yeah. Like, they were talking about them going for, like, upwards of 4 tickets to the Odyssey, $800. Like, I think on Friday, one of them went for $1,200, just a single ticket to go see the Odyssey in IMAX.
Yeah, well, and what's wild is, like, this is a huge movie for IMAX, so you know that for years they're going to milk this. There's always going to be, like, special showings and re-releases and stuff, because this is, with it being the first film ever shot entirely in IMAX, and that actually, there are, like, other movies that have tried to claim that, but this one, like, got into the fucking weeds about, like, inventing new, like, technology and hardware in order to do that. Like, yeah. Like, this movie not only is, like, you know, like, fun to watch and is, like, blowing everybody's mind that, like, Nolan was able to just, like, make a movie and people came to it, like, which seems to be like such a weird occurrence nowadays. Like not just with Nolan, but like with movies in general, that like everybody's enjoying it and like all this sort of shit. So like people are paying attention to it as from that angle, but from the movie making side of things, like what went on behind the scenes, and specifically with IMAX and all of that, like we're gonna be seeing this movie a million times. And so like this like, to your point, the mad rush to go and see it is a little bizarre, right? That being said, I mean, like, I went to go see it. I love the story of the Odyssey, and I watch a billion different versions of it. So like I just like, you know, I think we're both kind of in the same place. I'm just like a little bit more on one side, and you're a little bit more on the other. You know, is in terms of, you tell me that something is a version of the Odyssey, I am already there. You tell me it is a version, like a historical version, I am so fucking on board. You know, like I tell people all the time that the one episode of Wishbone I ever really reference is the Odyssey episode, you know, and which is funny because I never thought about that, but one of the whole bits of that particular part of the Odyssey is Odysseus coming home to his dog, who has somehow lived as long as he has and is still there waiting for him, which is like this lovely part of that story that's just adorable. But the idea of Wishbone coming home to his family, and I do think that they have the dog, which is a wild bit. Anyway, yeah, fair. Like I love the story of the Odyssey, so like I was totally on board with that. But I can't believe the ways that like $1,200 to buy a ticket to go and see it in IMAX, which is, you know, cool. Like I'm not gonna say don't see this in IMAX, just don't spend $1,200 to do it.
Right. Honestly, every print of the Odyssey that went out to the 21 IMAX theaters that exist in the country that are able to play it, they should be allowed to just keep it. I understand that, like, storage-wise, that would be very difficult for them, but, like, they should not try to reclaim those prints. Those prints should stay at these IMAX theaters, so that if they have, like, a lull, or they just want to, like, play the Odyssey again some weekend, they can do that. Like, that should have been part of the deal. Is, like, where there's...
I do know that like loading up like the IMAX film itself into the projection cameras is so much of a production in and of itself that they probably can't just like on the fly throw it on. Like but if you have, say, a Moana that comes out and it's going to have IMAX showings and then it doesn't do so hot, and so you want to get that out of the way and get something in there for a little bit until you figure out the next move, having something like the Odyssey on standby is probably a pretty good marketing tool.
Yeah, I think it should be on standby, and I think like that's your reward for being one of the only 21 places in our country where we can, you know, display this film the way that it was shot. I just feel like that'd be nice. That like just makes sense. And then there's some incentive to maybe build another IMAX theater. But you're right. And again, and all I have to say, because I don't want to talk about anything of the Odyssey, I think everybody should go see the Odyssey. I do think that this is one of those moments that will be remembered. I don't think it's the best film I've seen this year, but I will easily say that it is the first Best Picture nominee that I saw in theaters. And if it does not win all of the sound awards that it should be nominated for, I will be disappointed. The worst part...
Odd thing to say about a Nolan movie.
Yeah, crazy, right? That's me saying that about a Nolan movie. Watching it in an auditorium where the entire right side of... stage left, house right. The entire house right PA could not fucking handle it. That was the worst part about my experience seeing the Odyssey.
Ugh,
it's just like...
sucks.
And I'm just like, oh my God. And then I'm like, nobody heard that, right? And I'm there with Dale, right? Who has the same, like, sort of level of audio training that I have. And I was like, that needs to win for mix. That needs to win for, like, editing. Like, the sound was so good in that. Like, legitimately, that's why I'm excited. Because Christopher Nolan movies generally have the worst sound, just bar none. When it wins awards for sound stuff, I'm like, why? Did people just not know what sound sounds like? Did they get to hear it in the studio, like when it was being edited, and then it was ruined once it was in theaters? Like, what is the explanation for this? The Odyssey, oh my god, the layers, the sound is beautiful. But the only like demonstrative thing that I can say about the Odyssey that I hope will get people to go see it is that I am seeing it again on Wednesday. Because Mother was like, I don't think I want to watch the Odyssey. And then Dale and I came home and we're like, you need to see the Odyssey in theaters. And she's going on Wednesday and I will be going with her. And another theater, so hopefully the sound will not be as fucked up as it was my first time seeing it. But even with that fucked up sound, man, I think the sound in the Odyssey is something to be celebrated.
I ever tell you about when I saw Les Mis in theaters, the movie, when it came out 10 years ago, 15 years ago? Me and my family all went together to go see it. I think it was a Christmas release or something like that.
I believe it was, yeah.
But, we're watching the movie and we're feeling some feelings about the quality of it that I think now in retrospect everybody can admit to, right? But we find out after the movie, they come out and they start offering tickets to everybody because apparently they just didn't have the surround sound on. We were basically just getting like the front speakers the whole time. And like we were like, oh, maybe that's why it didn't sound so great in certain parts. And then finding out later that maybe we were saved from some shit.
Yeah, it seems like you guys were lucky.
That was one of the weirdest experiences because it did sound like something was wrong, but I was just so ready to blame it on the movie.
That's so crazy. That is insane. Well, at least they made it
tells
right.
You something about
yeah.
But to your question about like why is it that Nolan seems to be recognized for certain things that seem wild? I do think that one of his things, as an artist, like artiste, like he designs for a very specific experience. And I think that the Odyssey proves that with the IMAX, right? He designs with a very specific experience in mind when he makes these movies. And so I think that that's part of the sound problem for him, is that he is designing for a very specific setup of sound system that nobody else can replicate. Whether it's because it's something in studio that nobody else has access to, or like he's designing it for theaters, which is great, but then by the time it hits TV, nobody can understand anything that's fucking happening, or like there's just this, I don't know, maybe he just has his fucking beats on when he's like putting this shit together and it just sounds so much better when it's just in his headphones, like maybe we should all be wearing like Bluetooth headsets to his movies. But there's something about the way in which this movie was brought together and the thing that he was aiming for, maybe it is the IMAX of it all. I think he's just stumbled into this good sound that you're talking about, because like I cannot imagine that he has somehow gotten amazingly better at understanding sound design, because famously like he has his fingers in every freaking pie on his movies, and like the sound is one of those things that people have come at the sound designers before and they've been like, look man, I told him no. Like I think Bane was one of the big
was a huge one,
where like all of the sound guys were just like, this isn't gonna work, and he was just like, no, I need it to be grittier. I don't know why he talks like that.
I love it. I love that as your Christopher Nolan voice. Don't let it change. Grittier. It's wonderful. Yes. But yeah, it's really, I can't believe that I'm like going to go watch the film again. Because the only other film I think I've seen multiple times in theaters this year is Gail Daughtry and the Celebrity Sex Pass. Because it turns out that film was only in theaters for the 1 week. And I had planned to go see it like after Moana we ended up having to record because of all the heat, right? The weather made it so we had to record that night. But my plan after seeing Moana live action 2 Wednesdays ago was to then go see Gail Daughtry and the Celebrity Sex Pass again. Like, I wanted to catch it as many times as I could at like a cheap price. So then I'm like, oh, well, I missed it because we had to record, but that's fine. I can catch it next week. No scheduled showtime. So Thursday night, the very last showing, which they moved it to another theater. Like, I also got to see Gail Daughtry in 2 separate theaters, Auditorium 12 and Auditorium 11 at my local cinema. Which does lead me to believe that they actually still think that Theater 12 is still haunted. Because there's like a big rumor that the Auditorium 12 is haunted because there was a historic graveyard that was there that had to be moved. And you can see that historic graveyard. I don't know if this is truth or just the urban legends of Rhode Island, but they do believe that that theater, because it was technically the 13th theater that was built, but it is numbered 12, is haunted. Like, I love the stories about that place. So for the 10 o'clock showing of Gail Daughtry, instead of showing in Theater 10, in Theater 12, which all of the other showtimes started before the sun would have gone down, they moved it to Theater 11. And it was the same exact thing. Like, all the trailers were the same and all that. But I was alone in the cinema for that viewing of Gail Daughtry, the final viewing at my theater. I ended up live tweeting the movie.
Nice.
Which was a good
Excellent.
time. I had a good time doing that. I really like it. I can't wait till people get to see that movie because it was so much better the second time when like I knew the beats were coming, so like I could like even have my eyes open more for just the David Wayne-ness of it all. And there were some things I missed the first time through that just made me so happy. And I will say this. During my second viewing, I did end up having to use the restroom. I did it with like 20 minutes left in the film, but I had already seen the movie A. B, I was alone in the auditorium, and C, I had come from the bar where I had been drinking. So, like, I was set up. It's not as if, and it was like a last minute thing where I'm like, oh, if I end up leaving here tonight, right? Like, I still got to hang out with my friends and we had a good time. But then I'm like, all right, driving home. Oh, shit, man. Gail Daughtry starts in 5 minutes. I could go see Gail Daughtry again. So I did. Also, Gail Daughtry, as much as I've loved it and I've talked about it on the show, not the best picture I think I've seen this year. I think Is God Is really is the one that did it for me. And that film, since I have Box Office Mojo up because I was curious with all this Odyssey talk, right? It's only been out for, I think, 2 weeks, right? When was its first release?
It's only had 2 weekends. So far.
So I'm curious. It's only right now domestically at 100 million, which like that's pretty good. But it's only in 6th place. And I hope that I do hope that like all of this translates to more money. It's crazy that it seems like everybody is seeing the Odyssey, to the fact that my favorite complaint about people who never go to the movie theaters being the people at the movie theater. Like, how do you not know how to find your seat? Like, I understand if you've never had to pick your seat beforehand, because that's something that relatively came into prominence post-pandemic. But, like, it's written right there. There's a number where you're supposed to sit. It's right there. It's just like in an auditorium or at, like, live theater. The seats are pretty well marked. Like,
yeah, do they do that thing in the aisles like they do out here where it's in the carpet? Like you like it's so hard to miss what row because it's like it's on the chair, it's in the carpet. There's like a sign, but yeah, like it's like part of the architecture.
Like we made sure you could find it. So like, but we were sitting there and people came. And, you know, I bought extra seats because I knew it was going to be crowded. And Wednesdays around here are now the cheap movie night. So for, like, the price I would see a movie any other night, I can buy 6 seats and have a buffer of 2 seats. Like, that feels wonderful to me. I do not feel bad about doing that because I'm giving the theater money. Right? They're still getting what they would have gotten from any other night, but I don't have to be fearful of having people right on top of me. And I know that, like, that's mileage is going to vary by people, right? I still sit next to my party. I'm not doing, the season 2, episode 1 of the Boondocks, which I still think is one of the great quotes from the Boondocks, but I'm not going to say it because I'm an intelligent individual. But, like, so I have that. So people come and they sit in one of the seats that I know I purchased, and I'm like, these 2 seats are actually taken. And they're like, no, and I'm like, no, like, they're taken. You're in 13 and 14, so just shift down 1. And then, like, the people on the other side, they actually came and were counting the seats from the first seat until they got to where Dale was seated, when she was in seat 9. And then, like, all right, so if that's 9, then those 2 are 3 and 4. And I'm like, when you started counting 1, 2, 3, what other seat would that have been?
I mean, look, man, people are fucking dumb. If there's one thing that I have just been really just reminded of time and time again lately, it's that, just, people like to do the old George Carlin bit, like think about the average American and then realize that like half of the country is dumber than that, right? Which is like, definitely something to keep in mind when dealing with the world. I also think that number is too generous.
I tend to agree with you, right? Especially Claude, right? We kind of gave Claude some room, so I'm going to give him some credit here in the middle of this episode. He is the one who has taught me that, like, you generally aim for the smartest person in the room with a lot of your comments, but what things are designed for is for the dumbest person in the room. Not the average, like, intelligence, but literally the person in the room who will think of, like, using the mouse as the keyboard. And it really
have you ever heard that story about the national park trash cans? I actually met someone that actually works on this. That worked
on them? Jeez.
That it's an ongoing thing. It's just this is just what they do to make sure that they're keeping, because the thing is that bears learn, so they've got to constantly be updating and changing and testing stuff. But yeah, that for anybody that doesn't know the story, that the national parks, or maybe it's just one, but I know the national park system at least has to do this like weird testing with like bears and with humans on the same like mechanisms, because there's this weird intersection of the dumbest humans and the smartest bears, and like like we need to figure out a way to design a trash can that humans can still throw trash in, that bears can not figure out how to get into. And I didn't think that I always thought that was just like a goofy joke until I met someone that actually works on that in like the grand scheme of things. Because we were talking about some government job stuff, and specifically some national parks stuff that was in danger of getting cut, and like, or didn't get cut, even though how goofy it is, because they just didn't have certain keywords in any of their paperwork or name or anything, just by sheer dumb luck. They just were like, well, that's not really something that ever affects us, so like we wouldn't ever ask for a grant for that, so therefore we wouldn't be losing that money, right? It's just dumb luck.
Jeez, that's crazy. But yeah, it is. Yeah, the smartest bears, like smarter than the average bear. Yogi Bear was probably a rocket scientist in the bear community. Just think about that. He's
a doctor on Jellystone.
Oh, jeez. I don't know if I'm comfortable. I feel like he just wants to pick up my bread basket a la Operation.
He's not a good one.
No.
Don't worry.
Thank you for assuaging my fears. Speaking of Yogi Bear, though, we are now living in a post-Breaking Bear world. The new Tubi series has released. I haven't gotten a chance to watch an episode yet, but Brendan Fraser is the Walter White of the Bears in Tubi's new show, Breaking Bear, alongside Sarah Michelle Gellar and Josh Gad. Like, I'm excited to watch it. I just haven't had the opportunity. But that's because, do you know what else released the same day, Sejohn? As Breaking Bear?
I don't know. New American Dad?
No. Actually, New American Dad is not coming until September 13th. The 400th episode of American Dad. That's right. As of this recording, we are 490. We are 98 episodes more than American Dad. Isn't that crazy? Because it was something we were fighting and following for a while, and now we're gonna be 100 episodes ahead by the time they release their 400th episode.
Nice.
That's just super cool to me. No, so I don't know why that is. Like, the last episode I think aired in June, which is A Donkey's Shame, which was a good episode of American Dad. I really enjoyed it. Perfect American Dad episode. But then the last 2 episodes of season, I believe it's 22, are going to be airing on September 13th. And then we're not going to have New American Dad until March of 2027. Because, I mean, Comic-Con's going on right now, and that was part of the reveal, is like some shots from season 23 of American Dad, and along with the confirmation that we're not getting it till 2027. So that's how I know when the last 2 episodes of 22 are there. Because I'm like, well, is 22 over then? Because I thought that they said there were going to be 13 episodes, and that they were also going to have a 400th episode extravaganza. So am I wrong? And I wasn't wrong. I was right, Sejohn. That felt pretty good. I don't know. No, the Teeny Mutant Ninja Turtles premiered.
Oh,
yes, it is a YouTube exclusive. It's on the Nick Jr. YouTube channel.
all right.
I don't know how old they're supposed to be, but they are very young. They wear shoes, which is kind of cute. They don't wear shoes. They wear like the ninja sandals, and those are color coded as well. They also have ooze weapons, which allows them to have like special powers. Like Leonardo's ooze sword can shoot projectiles of ooze from it. Raphael's can spin and create perfect shields. Like they look like Captain America's shield. Donatello's bow bounces, which he turned it into a pogo stick in the 2nd episode. And Michelangelo can fly with his ooze nunchucks. Like he's legitimately able to get enough speed on them that he gets lift. So that's
I do,
fun.
yeah. So it looks like it's one of these 4-minute shows,
Yeah.
like the, yeah. Basically, I don't know how many people out there watch kids shows that don't have kids themselves, but something that has become come into fashion over the last like probably 10 years of with like Nick Jr. and Disney Jr. and all that stuff is making a whole bunch of these like 4-minute interstitial style shows, and then they can just do a whole bunch of mixing and matching. They don't have to put a whole episode on. They can easily put it up on things like YouTube in episode formats that are just split up and stuff like that. So like this like keep the kids' attention for 4 minutes stuff. I don't know enough because again I don't have kids of my own, but I don't know enough about the implications of like, is this better or worse for kids in terms of the attention span problems that we know that screens now cause, right? And things like that. I don't know if this is feeding that exact. It feels like it is, but I don't.
I would certainly say it is, because we're saying their attention spans are getting shorter. So by only asking for their attention and these are they're actually like 3 minutes and 25 seconds long, right? I think that's the length.
I know
on
that
them.
there are some. I know that there are some shows like there's a Winnie the Pooh style show like this, and one of the big things about that is that it's all about teaching lessons. So like they're using the format to an advantage where they very clearly state like, oh, this is this is what we do during a thunderstorm. We turn the nightlight on, or we tell mom and dad, or like there's like specific like goals to each one, so that doesn't feel so weird to me. But then you look like, I think I'm trying to pull one out of my ass. I think there's one that I watched with the kid that me and the fan babysit. We watch Super Kitties with her. She's a very big fan of Super Kitties, and that one I don't know why they're 4-minute episodes. There's like continuing story in some of them and shit like that. And it's just like this feels like this is just trying to take advantage of this kid's like, oh, I only watched TV for 2 seconds. But anyway,
yeah, and it's I mean, so everybody compared Rise of the TMNT to like Teen Titans Go because they were like 11-minute episodes and sort of like a lot of the same voice actors like were between the two of them. So I understood the comparison, but Rise ended up being one of the better like later day Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series, right? We've talked about that like crazy on this series. Teeny Mutant Ninja Turtles, first of all, I love it. Like, I really do enjoy the show. It feels so Paw Patrol coded, though. Like, it's kind of crazy. And there's
without all the ACAB shit, though.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. I mean, we're right now, without all the ACAB shit, I wouldn't be surprised if, like, Raphael wanted to be a police officer somewhere down the line. Right,
Ugh.
They also live like in a dojo. Like they live above. They don't live in the sewer in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And every episode, like the shell siren goes off, and that's what alerts them to it. It's very Paw Patrol. And then they go down like they have the whole intro sequence, which isn't an intro sequence. It's kind of like a Sailor Moon transformation style sequence. So like that right there is 20 seconds of every episode. Is like this weird introduction of them. And like they haven't told me that those are their weapons powers, but in that weird transformation sequence, those are what each of their weapons do. So like it feels like that's what it's trying to communicate. I want to know more about the Teeny Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like Bebop and Rocksteady are already there and they're the same-ish age as them. So I want to know more about that. Like
all I can think about is the last time we were talking about TMNT. It was because of the big giant crossover arc, right? And like, what?
I would love it if the Teeny Mutant Ninja Turtles ended up at the Battle Nexus. That'd be wonderful. It'd be so
Here's
good.
The quote.
Oh man, it would. Yeah, but like it's enjoyable stuff. It's a little funny. I'm a little upset. Like it's clearly for kids because there's a moment. The second episode introduces Bebop and Rocksteady, and they're just stealing people's pizzas. Why order takeout when we could just take it from other people? That's like a quote in it. And then they're like, "So what pizza do you want to have first? Extra cheese? Mushrooms? Pepperoni?" I was really hoping that Bebop would say ham, and I could be like, oh, that's funny because he's a pig, but he wants to eat pig. And then that brings up the further thing. If a mutant in the Ninja Turtles world started as a human and then takes on the attributes of an animal, would that make them a cannibal? Like, can Bebop have a ham and cheese sandwich, or is he a cannibal, Jim?
I mean, I think that there would definitely be some psychological factors at play that would really fuck with a person in that circumstance. I will say that specifically with Bebop and Rocksteady, they aren't exactly the brightest bulbs in the bunch, so maybe their stupidity would save them from that particular, existential crisis, as it were. But I don't think that I would classify them as a cannibal or see them as doing something horribly wrong. I mean, first of all, there are famously like videos of like Trey Parker and Matt Stone like feeding bacon to pigs and shit like that, and like Jackass. I'm sure they've done stuff like this. But we also know that like within their own regular feed, there's a lot of animals that eat animal bits and parts.
Like
that's just
technically right.
Yeah.
Like, fish eat other fish.
There's a lot of, and different breeds and types and shit like that. But like, so like, it's a weird circumstance, and definitely one that like a human mind would definitely like struggle with. But outside of that, I don't think that there's anything morally wrong with it.
I mean, like, I just wanted that to be the bit. Like pepperoni. I don't know what pepperoni is made of. Let's look that up. Maybe I'm just like, I've messed the joke. What is pepperoni?
Usually sausage is
it's
pork as well.
It's a spicy salami made from cured pork and beef. Cured pork and beef, not beak. Sorry. So I mean, him saying pepperoni is kind of like him saying I'm gonna eat pig right here. But like, I feel like the ham would have been more blatant, or like bacon would have been more blatant. Because like, and there's also a chance it's beef pepperoni. But now I want there to be like a thing with Bebop and Rocksteady where like Rocksteady like, could you please stop Bebop to Rocksteady, could you please stop having a ham and cheese sandwich for lunch every day? It makes me feel uncomfortable.
Not blinking.
But it's so. I mean, I enjoy it. Like people were like, real like, this is the end of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with this infantilization of the characters. And honestly, no, I've been watching them as babies as long as I can remember. Like they've done stories of them before they were teenagers. Right? How they got their weapons and their training and things like that have shown them as young. So them being younger...
This is clearly not trying to propose any type of, like, canonical part. Like they're not trying to say, like, this was the actual experience of your favorite heroes growing up. Like, no. They're doing the... Disney does this a lot with, like, Mickey and Friends and stuff, too, where, like... You know, they just like make them babies and act like they knew each other, but then that doesn't really make sense in the grand scheme of things, right? Like, because these two characters never should have met at this point. Like Bebop and Rocksteady, like we were just talking about, like they shouldn't be Bebop and Rocksteady yet at this point in their life.
They were adult males when they were mutated by the Shredder. Like that's their story. And even in something like Mutant Mayhem, where they were mutated, like a few years before the Ninja Turtles were mutated. So they're like they're like older brothers in that sort of world, in the Mutant Mayhem world. Like they're completely different characters. Like they started as animals and were mutated by Baxter Stockman. So like it's a different universe. What I do really like about Teeny Mutant Ninja Turtles though is that they are very heavily borrowing some iconography from the 2012 series and Rise. Like, Teeny Raphael has the Fang, and I love it. I love that he has the Fang from Rise of the TMNT. And Michelangelo is so just the 2012 Michelangelo, with it still being its own canon. Like, I don't believe that they're trying to say that 2012 Michelangelo, before he grew into the Michelangelo you know and love in that series, this is the shit he was getting up to. But he has a sequence in the first one that is just very reminiscent of the sort of hand-drawn animation dream sequences he would have in 2012. And his coloring, and especially like his eyes, are very similar to the 2012 series. But like Donatello doesn't have the gap in his teeth. Like they're doing what Ninja Turtles has always done. I actually had this conversation with some people about how Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which began as a parody of what was going on in comic books at the time, right? There were a lot of teenagers, there were a lot of mutants, there were a lot of ninjas, there were no turtles. So that was their twist on it. It started as a parody, but it has somehow grown to have the most robust and fleshed out multiverse compared to anything that Marvel or DC have done.
Yeah, I mean, that's the best kind of satire, right? Is the one that plays by the rules and is still able to kind of show you the goofiness of it all.
Yeah.
And yeah, you know, so with that idea in mind, right? This idea of this kind of show, we see plenty of Marvel and DC shows that are like, again, like these characters would not have been meeting at this point. They would not have they wouldn't have powers at this point. I love, man, the Spider-Man show,
with the kids,
Spider-Man and Friends.
Yeah, Spider-Man and Friends. It's why would people...
where the Punisher shows up and he just hates broccoli.
Yeah. Or the fact that in that series, Peter Parker is the same age as Miles Morales. It's just a thing. It totally works. You know what I'm really... Since we've evoked Spider-Man and the Ninja Turtles, I am really looking forward to the 1 or 2 articles that come out of Brand New Day, which is probably going to be the biggest stage for the Hand to ever show up in a Marvel property. Right? Am I wrong? Like, I know that they were a part of the Elektra film, but Sejohn, I've never even seen the Elektra film. And I
Well, but you didn't
Ben
watch
Affleck
you didn't
Daredevil.
watch the Defenders, right?
Oh, right. The Hand were a
like
part of that. Yeah. Okay.
The hand were the big bad of that entire like universe.
Gotcha.
So like
Understandable.
so anybody that was watching like Daredevil and Elektra and Luke Cage and
Iron Fist and
why can't I think
Jessica
of her name?
Jones.
Jessica Jones was what I was trying to think of. Jessica
Okay.
Jones, yeah. Iron Fist, man. Oof, I forgot about Iron Fist. There was so much potential. That Iron Fist is a show that I want to go back and rewatch and talk about with people because, like, in the moment, it got all the criticism it deserved. It deserved all the criticism it got, and it got
it got a hefty amount. Yeah.
Yeah, like this is not a thing where I'm saying it's better than people remember. It's one of those things where, because of all of the noise at the time, I don't think anything got articulated particularly well or specific. And I think that there's something to be said about going back and doing that with that particular show, just because you're talking about with Brand New Day, they're bringing that universe into the films. Like they're officially saying, you know, there was a long time where there was this kind of like weird back and forth of like, is the Netflix series there or are they just separate? You know, especially after what happened with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., where like the very first season was so clearly supposed to be in universe, but then everything after that feels weird. But then they introduced the idea of multiverses, so maybe they can bring it back in. Like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was a fucking mess in that regard, right? So Netflix and what they were doing there was, I think, kind of gun shy and didn't want to get too tied to the universe with everything going on. And so now we're just whole hog. We're just saying, no, this is here. And I mean, they kind of did that already with introducing Matt Murdock once or twice.
Yeah.
Right. But
Matt Murdock was in No Way Home. Like he's been like this universe was shown to exist at least in the Spider-Man universe. And I know that like that's a weird thing to say, but with the whole Sony of it all, it's kind of an important distinction to make.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. But yes, but like, so The Hand being in a Spider-Man film, it's undeniable that Spider-Man is still the biggest moneymaker. Like, there's a reason why Sony doesn't want to get rid of it, because they see just the gains that they can make off of Spider-Man movies. Even after Madam Web and Kraven and the 3 Venom movies. And I feel like there's one more that Morbius. I forgot about Morbius. How could a person forget about Morbius? It's Morbin.
Yeah, but I mean, notably, none of those actually having Spider-Man in them.
Right, exactly. Almost like having to run away from it. The original plot of Madam Web being the guy is trying to kill Peter Parker because, like, almost like the Terminator style. And then, like, they're not allowed to talk about the fact that that baby is Peter Parker at all.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Like, but yes, but Spider-Man is still like the big money maker. So I am excited that with The Hand seemingly being one of the things he'll be dealing with in that movie, like an article talking about the foot. And I really hope that somebody mistakes The Hand for a play on the foot and not the other way around. I like when parody goes so long that people don't get that, like, no, it started from there. I love when that happens. And I do kind of hope that with The Hand getting this huge cinematic spotlight shined on it, somebody's like, is this inspired by the foot? And they mean it, like, sincerely. Because there's a bunch of stuff online where people are just idiots. There's a whole thing in all the TMNT groups that I'm not a part of. But like you said, it's social media, so you kind of get what they know you like. Of, like, I found more of those bootleg comics where all the turtles are wearing red bandanas. And it's just a bunch of Mirage books in a trash can. Like, it's not funny. I'm tired of that joke. Which, this is going to be the last year, Sejohn. This is going to be the last year. It's been confirmed. NECA is no more Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle toys from NECA. With the Tempestra release, they're losing, and like they're done. That's going to be their last release, which is frustrating a little bit because they showed like a Krang's giant android body figure like 5 or 6 years ago at a Comic-Con, And now, like, yeah, no, we're not going to be able to do that. And it's like, you showed us a prototype almost a decade ago. Like, what do you mean you're not going to be able to do that? What are you talking about?
Was that not the Build-A-Fig? I thought that was part of the whole...
They don't do build.
Am I thinking of a different series?
Different series.
I must be thinking of a different series.
The Turtles of Grayskull line had a Build-A-Figure, and it was Metalhead and Roboto as one character.
Nice.
Yeah. Which totally worked, like, which was excellent. But also, that Build-A-Figure was only the Target store exclusive figures. So, like, it was difficult to get on top of being difficult to get. They really kind of, like, go fuck yourself with this Build-A-Figure.
Yeah.
So
fantastic.
Yeah. But Mattel, like, we thought that NECA was going to probably have to stop because Mattel, starting next year, will be the people who do Ninja Turtles toys. And let's see if it's happened, because they haven't shown them yet, but they said that they were going to have Turtles on display at San Diego Comic-Con. So let's see. Mattel, TMNT, they have not shown anything yet, which is kind of been fun, because they have a placeholder page up on the Mattel site that refers to Raphael as being the strong and silent turtle. And, like, no, that's not right. What are you talking about? Yeah, I don't know. Mattel, TMNT,
Yeah.
SDCC. Nope, not yet. Just the 15 hours ago. Mini panel at the booth. We'll get started shortly. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are shown there, but I don't think they've shown what any of the figures are going to be yet, which is kind of crazy. I mean, like, I'm excited, but it's also, like, I want to know what it's going to be.
Is today the last day for Comic-Con?
Yeah, this is the last day for Comic-Con. And the big thing about that is going to be Avengers Doomsday. Even with everything that they did yesterday, like, collectible-wise, it's all going to be that. I don't know if you're familiar with
You hear the Ghost Rider news last night?
I did. It's Ryan Gosling.
I'm very excited.
Well,
There's a lot of conversation about how people don't think he's going to be Blaze, which is
I'd be okay with that.
Maybe. I would be especially okay with it if that means that they are going to introduce Nicolas Cage. You know what I mean? Bring him
the exact
even
thing I was
tangentially, just kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, Cowabunga Forever 5-packs, like, I don't know what these are. Like, are these are World of TMNT, so I don't know. This is all Playmates. This is the Playmates thing that they did. So Playmates Swan Song is going to be this Cowabunga Forever line that is, like, giving us versions of the old stuff. But Mattel's stuff has not been shown yet. So we'll see.
Yeah, this idea that infantilizing the turtles, this is like a new idea. Like, it feels like the same kind of shit you read about when you look at, like, the original criticisms of the TV show, when they were just like, oh, they're making this for kids now. This is it. This is the end. When that was, like, the thing that made them blow the fuck up.
Yeah. Yeah. The reason we're still talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles today, 42 years later, and almost 40 years from when the cartoon series premiered, is because of that cartoon series. They were just a marketing juggernaut that burrowed their way into the heads of our age group and never found a way out of it. So I'm excited. I like the teeny stuff. I want a teeny Raphael. He's hilarious looking to me because he's big and he's strong and he's got his stupid little fang. And I like that his little size turned into Captain America shields that he cannot throw, but can seemingly block everything. I'm excited for the episode where they explain their weapons, Sejohn, and how they have weapons that are made of ooze.
I mean, if we ever get it, but yeah.
I mean, that's a good point. There's a good chance they will never do that episode, but I feel like it's the Ninja Turtles. The origin is part of it in a lot of ways. Right? I don't know. Maybe
it depends. Is this more of a Ninja Turtle show, or is this more of a, like, daytime children's show? You know, like, what are they leaning more into? Well, I mean, we may not know that yet.
Well,
right?
yeah, the 2 episodes everything just sort of happens. But then I also think about something like Freakazoid, where it's not until like the 7th episode that they do the origin of Freakazoid episode.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows? All I know is that I'm pretty excited about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I'm excited to see that. I don't know. I'm very excited to see Spider-Man 9 this weekend because I'll finally get to see the Doomsday trailer. I hope. I'm not gonna seek it out beforehand. Like it just doesn't.
Man, that would be wild if they didn't put it there.
Yeah. Like, I mean, they should also capitalize with whatever they're doing with like Endgame, like special edition, whatever they're calling it.
Oh yeah.
What is that being called? Come on.
The Whole Bloody Affair.
Endgame, The Whole Bloody Affair, just like they did with the Problem Child movies.
Yeah,
good times.
I do love that we've got a new shorthand for that though. Because I think this is going to be something we see more and more of.
Well, yeah, because they got to have ways to get people out to the theaters. Like, we really need to lean back into, they call them bringbacks at Showcase, but like second running movies. Like, I don't understand why everything is let's do something new in the franchise, where for so long up to that point, we'll just release a movie that people already know, but treat it like a new release. Right? That's why 101 Dalmatians is what 101 Dalmatians is. It's 101 Dalmatians. That's who we have to blame for it. I acted like I didn't know, but then as soon as those words came out of my mouth...
You're talking about the re-release of the animated movie is what you're talking about.
Yeah, because that movie's from like the 60s, but then in the 80s, they re-released 101 Dalmatians to try to mitigate the failures of The Black Cauldron, Something Wicked This Way Comes, The Great Mouse Detective, all things that I really enjoy. I'll admit that. But they're like, oh my God, we need money. So they re-released 101 Dalmatians. It blew up like crazy. And then, within 10-ish years, 96, they do the live-action remake with Glenn Close as Cruella de Vil. And that movie makes so much fucking money that then that becomes the norm for Disney. Which is, we're seeing the diminishing returns, not just on things like Moana live action, but Snow White live action from last year. But in between those two, Lilo and Stitch happened and made $1 billion.
Which people seem to keep forgetting. Everybody wants to look at the way that Moana performed and talk about how maybe this will finally make Disney realize these movies aren't worth it. And it's like, do you not remember the one before this was one of, if not their most successful movie of the year?
Yeah, it was. I think it was. Let's go back to last year because I'm not finding.
At least for Disney, it was at least Disney's most successful film of the year. I'm pretty sure.
No, Zootopia 2 was made $1.8 billion.
And where was, how close was
Lilo?
Lilo?
So they were the heroes. Niza 2 was the worldwide champion with $2.2 billion. Then Zootopia 2 with 1.8, Avatar Fire and Ash with 1.4, Lilo and
Disney.
Stitch with $1.03 billion.
1.03.
Yeah. And then a Minecraft movie, $960 million. So people keep telling me that not $1 billion film. Everybody says that Minecraft movie was $1 billion film. It was $40 million off the mark.
The $1 billion classic.
Yep, the $1 billion classic of Minecraft movie. So I don't know. Endgame re-release, what is it called? It had a name that Encore. Endgame Encore is what they call it. And apparently you want to see it, because if you don't see Endgame Encore, apparently they're re-editing stuff in order to retcon it to lead into Doomsday. I don't know how I feel about them George Lucasing a film that is 7 years old.
I would have to see exactly what they do before I could make a judgment on that, because that sounds awful. But if what they mean is they just added a new end credit scene, then oh yeah, okay,
yes,
that's fine, that,
right. That's the thing. If there's big re-edits, and of course they're going to act like whatever they're adding is the biggest thing in the world, because they'd really love it if they could re-release Endgame and make another $1 billion off of it. which is exactly what I'm talking about. They just need to re-release movies that were already successful. Like that there will be those people. It needs to be generational though, right? Like everybody with Moana, as much as I didn't have a problem seeing the live action remake of Moana, one of the reasons why is that you're still targeting the same generation. That generation does not have kids that they want to share that story with yet. Lilo and Stitch was the perfect timing. 2002 to 2025, perfect timing for those people who saw it when they were 10 to be old enough to have kids of their own that they want to share the movie with, or to have such nostalgia that they will go see it again if they don't have kids.
Yeah, there's a good sweet spot in like the 20 to 25 year, right? Like if you do that, then you have somebody that is now in their 30s and they probably have a 10-year-old kid of their own, right? Which gives you another 25 year like time clock. And like that's not unheard of in Hollywood with like versions of films that we get, you know? Alice in Wonderland is one of those ones that I've been going down a deep hole on, because there's actually a silent one from way before the Disney version. I was going to say interpretation. I don't know. But like this silent one that is like a fucking nightmare fest of like costuming and effects and stuff like that. Like it is nightmare inducing and it's amazing. But like, you know, then 10, 15 years later, you get the Disney one. And then there's even versions beyond that, right? I mean, even more Disney versions beyond that. So like, I've just gone down the rabbit hole of like, of that lately.
Yeah, I totally get it. Like Alice in Wonderland was one of those ones that like huge earner. You know what's crazy to me looking at this? That Lilo and Stitch still made more than the $2 billion movies we have this year. And I know that we're like only halfway through the year. We're a little bit more than halfway through the year, but like $1.01 billion for the Super Mario Galaxy movie, that just seems crazy to me. Also, I like that Toy Story 5 made $9 million more than $1 billion movie, the Minecraft movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, like but that's the only one that Disney has up there right now is Toy Story 5, which I'm sure is still producing in some way, shape, or form, right? Because everything else they've done is now released to be watched on Disney Plus. Hoppers is there, Mandalorian and Grogu just came there this week, so I don't know. Have you seen that one yet? Will you see that one?
I know. I'm gonna end up seeing it. I mean, I of all of the post trilogy Disney Star Wars stuff, right? Like Mandalorian is probably top of my list for stuff that I'm still pretty invested in and pretty happy with. Good. So like, I mean, you know, and I don't like talking about Star Wars anymore because I can't stand the way that people talk about Star Wars anymore. And I know that the best way for me to not become that is to just not talk about Star Wars. It's like such a bummer, but like, it's one of those things that I've just decided I just don't need to talk about with people anymore. You know, it's unfortunate because it is it was such a big topic. It was such a big fandom amongst me and my friends growing up and things like that. As much as my family was always more of a Star Trek family in terms of what we would watch on the reg, like Star Wars was definitely part of the repertoire, you know? And for that to just be kind of, I don't know. And there's a few things like that, you know, and, you know, this is, maybe we've come back around on the nostalgia thing where we're starting to come around. We're so deep in it that we're finding things that we refuse to be nostalgic about. Because, you know, I was just having this whole conversation about a collection of Harry Potter memorabilia that we still have in the house. And, you know, it was expensive, I'm sure, for whoever gave it to us. On top of that, it's not bad art and in and of what it is and like and all of this. So like we don't want to just like throw it out, but like also like it's not something we want to display anywhere anymore, you know? So like what do we do with it? And maybe there's someone we can give it to that doesn't have the same kind of moral conundrum.
Yeah, it's weird because like anything that I bought when I was younger, I know that money still went to JK, right? Like I understand that the books I bought when I was a kid went to her, but now that we're it's the same thing with Chick-fil-A, right? Like, because there was a time where like that guy was an asshole, right? The owner of Chick-fil-A came out, was a bigot, and it's like, yeah, but also at the same time, he lives in America. That's his right to be a bigot. And we don't know, like, he could be an asshole, but that doesn't mean that every restaurant's an asshole. And then we saw the money, and we saw that money that Chick-fil-A was earning was being donated to gay groups. That was then that's like, well, fuck Chick-fil-A. I'm not going to eat there anymore, right? I can get a chicken sandwich anywhere. I don't need to go to the one where I, like, put my moral scruples at bay in order to do it. It's not worth it. Same with J.K. Rowling. Once we found out that she was taking the money she earned from Harry Potter and donating it to anti-trans groups, it's like, well, I'm not going to give any more money to her. But there is that weird sort of like, what about everything that came before? Like, is it like...
So, like, it's, and, you know, and that's what that was what the conversation was.
Yeah.
Was like, I'm of the mindset that, like, the movies are a perfect example of this. If they did a re-release of the last film as a one film experience, which they probably already have, I'm so out of the fandom these days, I don't know. But, like, in line with all this of what we were talking about, would I go? Probably. Because at that point, more of the ticket money is going to the theater than it is to whatever company, right? That's because of the way that the re-release math starts to really favor theaters themselves. But then on top of that, the amount of people involved in the making of that film and the amount of people that came out of that film having enjoyable experiences and eye-opening experiences and educated experiences. I mean, look at the way that Daniel Radcliffe and I was going to say Emily Watson, right?
Emma Watson. It's just Emma Watson.
Emma Watson. That's what it is. Emma Watson. Rupert Grint, like the ways in which they are able to, you know, express their disappointment with the way that things have shooken out with J.K. Rowling, but also at the same time still remain very respectful of the fan base that still exists and stuff, is like, I mean, it's a testament to how good of people they really are. And so, like, there's this idea that, you know, I still want to celebrate all of that, right? And so, like, I don't necessarily think that we do need to get rid of stuff. And I don't think we need to be that upset about displaying certain things. You know, I'm not going to put, like, a signed copy up anywhere, right? Like, that I don't need any, or any. So, like, it's a really hard conversation. And it's just not worth having nowadays with so many people. And that's really what I mean is, like, I don't care what your politics are one way or the other in terms of whether or not I like you. Like, I'm not going to be mad that you disagree with me. I will be mad if you start expressing yourself in a way that's shitty, though, right? And that's all that those conversations ever seem to lead to these days. Nobody seems to know how to actually, like, criticize something without sounding like a complete turd about it, you know?
Well, because it's like that, like Supergirl. The amount of negativity I heard about Supergirl, and the amount of negativity, like I haven't gone on YouTube since I saw the Odyssey, and I think I'll wait until Thursday when I've seen the Odyssey for a second time to maybe dip into it. But like the stuff that YouTube has been like recommending to me in terms of reviews of the Odyssey are like, it's a hit in spite of itself. And it's like, what the fuck does that mean? What are you talking about? It's the Odyssey.
By one of this generation's greatest directors. Like,
yeah, like,
love him or hate him, like, Nolan is going to be a director that filmmakers talk about and reflect on for the rest of eternity.
It's true. It is true. And I don't know why
I don't love Roman Polanski, but there's definitely going to be people that look at his films, right, and talk about his films, right? Like, I'm not saying that being famous is necessarily a sign of good art or a good person, but like, he has made an impact in a way that
is undeniable. Undeniable.
Yeah,
impact.
is undeniable.
Yeah, I don't know. It's strange, but like, think about that, right? Think about Roman Polanski, right? We just brought up Roman Polanski. One of my favorite jokes in Family Guy is when Stewie's tricycle is stolen. He catches the bully, and he has him tied up in the basement. And Lois and Peter come down and find him, and he's like, "Oh, we're just playing house. Roman Polanski's house." That's funny. That's a funny joke. That's a very funny joke. With the stuff that is happening in the modern world, we're not allowing it to like exist long enough that a joke could be made 20, 30 years later. Because we're just condemning it in the moment in these ways that like it's not that it doesn't deserve condemnation, right? Like, yes, condemn, but it's just like it's condemned with such vitriol, with such intensity that it's like,
I believe the term is salt the earth.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, because like then the fields go fallow.
Well, no, letting the fields go fallow is good because that allows nutrients to go up. Salting the earth
means
earth. No, but that's not. Is that what fallow means? Right? Like when you do that? There's a whole thing. Fields go.
Well, fallow. I think fields going fallow just means that there's no more stuff there. I don't think it's a good or a bad thing, but I think that letting the fields go fallow and salting the earth is, I believe, like the concept. Like,
I don't know. I think salting the earth is different because fallow is a technique where it's left without sowing for one or more vegetative cycles, which allows the land to recover. When you salt the earth, it's supposed to never recover, right? What is that? This is a good question. No, I want to figure it out.
I just thought that letting something go fallow just meant that you just let it all die out and clear out and not replant. You know what I mean? Like I feel like we're in the same wheelhouse. I just think there was a little bit more of I always thought there was a little bit more of a negative connotation to it.
Yeah, no. Letting a field go fallow is what you kind of have to do to make sure that your fields don't die. But salting the earth, it's symbolic, right? Like that's the whole thing of it. I don't know. The salting of Carthage is not supported by historical evidence. Is my favorite line that came up when I looked up salting the earth. But yeah, but you're right. They do. They salt the earth so they make sure that nothing will ever grow there again, right? Like this is done. We've done it, and it's applied to everything. Not like something like Roman Polanski is not a thing that we should have like laughed about in this episode. Right? Like, understandably, not a thing that is worthy of a laugh. Right? Would you agree to that? Like, some horrible stuff happened by that man.
I mean, if Roman Polanski made a joke, I wouldn't laugh at it. But, like, I'm not going to ignore, like, the existence of the man and the ways in which the world... Well, and also like the systems in place that allowed it to happen, and the ways in which people like were very aware of the kind of person he was, and were still giving awards, still working for him. You know, there's movies that still come out that he is associated with. You know,
it's very true.
Like, so I'm not gonna not acknowledge, and you know, humor is definitely one of the strongest weapons you have against politics. You know, so like there's just this kind of idea that. I will definitely still laugh at jokes about Roman Polanski. I won't laugh about jokes with Roman Polanski.
I like that. I really like that. But I guess the point where I'm trying to make where I say that is like, I don't think Supergirl needs to be treated like Roman Polanski.
Oh, yeah.
And that seems to be the issue. Is that people, they don't like something and they treat it like it is the worst of the worst. There needs to be nuance, again, with the things that we don't like in this world. Because by just condemning things, like, I didn't like Supergirl, it's dead, right? I would be willing to laugh at a joke that Supergirl made at itself. I'll admit that. I will admit that I'll laugh at a joke that Supergirl makes. I won't laugh at a joke Roman Polanski makes. Outside of all the other issues with that, right? Because it would mean that he's some sort of zombie ghoul revenant creature that has returned to life. There'd be other things that need to be going on for that.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know. It's just, like the vitriol is just so strong towards everything that people disagree with these days. And it's like, no, like, not liking a movie doesn't mean that, like, that movie should be killed forever.
Or like anybody involved needs to be blacklisted from Hollywood just because you didn't enjoy the film they made.
Right. Like it's, you know what? There's a new show on streaming. I'm not going to say the name, that everybody is saying that they enjoy. And I've tried 3 episodes of it. And I don't think I'm going to continue because I only have so many hours of life on this planet, and I don't want to waste it on something that I'm not enjoying just because it's part of the cultural consciousness right now. But I also am not going to say that show should be destroyed for everybody. Right? Mm-hmm. I'm not even going to say the name of the show because I don't want to affect other people's opinion. If you watch it and it works for you, congratulations. Admittedly, it doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for my mother. It doesn't work for my sister. It's just not working for any of us. So it's one of those like, but it's only 8 episodes. Maybe we should finish it. It's like, but we haven't enjoyed any of the first 3 episodes. Where do you pull the string? And generally I would do it at 4 episodes, but like, then I'm halfway through. Like, it's such the world of entertainment is such a weird landscape right now.
Yeah.
Like
it's going to be this way forever. There's
not changing. There's no going back.
There's no going back to what it was. Like, it is going to change, but God knows how these days. Yeah.
I don't know. And that's like, I also played a game in early access that I really enjoyed. I bought probably a year ago before I actually tried it. I'm not going to say the name of that one. And like, I'm mad that like it's in early access because it's got the real good bones of a game. But when it actually releases, I don't know if like I'll want to play it because there's some issues that I have with it at what the developer themselves are admitting is a not ready for primetime version of the game that I bought. Like,
yeah.
Like, I don't love unlocks, and not just unlocks like cosmetic unlocks, being tied to doing combo challenges in like a training simulator. That doesn't seem fun to me. And like, honestly, I would hope that they would move that from the game. It once it comes out of early access. Like, that would be one of my big things in this, is that like tying unlocks, global unlocks, to doing things as every character up to a point, and like it's a beat 'em up, right? Like, I don't think anybody will be able to figure it out just from the fact that I'm admitting that it's a beat 'em up. It's like some of the characters do not jive with how I want to play in a beat 'em up. I don't like that.
Do you know how to edit a beep in? I want to make a guess, but if you don't want people to know, you could.
No, you can take a guess. If you take a guess, I'll admit it right now.
Is it the new Avatar one that just came out?
No, it is not the new Avatar one that just came out.
Oh,
there's a new Avatar game.
So there's a new Avatar fighting game that has just come out, and it's getting a lot of praise from a lot of fans. So I will start with that. I don't think that it looks good. Like, I think it probably plays great, and God knows I'm not a fighting game like person like 1,000 times over. The praise that it's getting for the like reverence that it has for the show, I feel for me is dented a little bit by the fact that like it's kind of boring to look at. But maybe, you know, the thing is that it's only just come out. These are the kinds of games that they will support forever. Maybe it's going to get better. Maybe I'm just missing something. I'm not like deep in the game, but I've got friends that are playing it that are really loving it and all that, and critics seem to be enjoying it. I think it might only be early access at the moment, but it's
just
definitely
released on the 23rd.
So, it did just come out. Yeah. Okay, yeah. I was going to say, I thought I had seen more than one friend playing it. I have one friend that works in the industry, and so sometimes I catch him playing shit that I didn't that are not available yet.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's out, and I'm looking at it. The issue that I'm having with this, okay, so it's also not this game, right? He-Man and the Dragon Pearl, Masters of the Universe beat-em-up game that just got a release date of September 28th. The same thing that... The same complaint that I glean from what you said about this Avatar Legends game, because I have it going on in the background right now, because I went to the Steam page to see the release date, is the issue that I have with the He-Man game. Is that like, it's this beautiful hand-drawn art, but it doesn't look dynamic enough. It's not engaging enough to me. Like that...
There's not enough going on in the backgrounds. There's not enough... Yeah.
like that He-Man, the Dragon Pearl game. I think it's Masters of the Universe, Legends of the Dragon Pearl. Not 100% sure of it. I was kind of excited about it. It was supposed to be out in April, but then like right before they announced that we're going to delay it a little bit and release it later this year, I watched a trailer, and the only thing that I could compare the animation to was Golden Axe on the Genesis. And I like Golden Axe. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy Golden Axe. But Golden Axe is such a stiff, uninteresting game. Like, the movement is very, like, you know, he's just swinging a sword. There's not, like, combos and things like that. And because, like, the new Masters of the Universe game looked hand-drawn, like, it all looked like, okay, so Adam swings his sword, and that's it. Like, it's not dynamic, it's not engaging. The trailer that came out when they announced that it's going to be releasing in September now looked far more dynamic in the movement tech. Like, I'm now reassessing that. I want to see someone actually play it. I don't want to watch, like, just the trailer of it. Ideally, I'd get to play a demo and get to judge for myself. But like that, like the game that I'm talking about, again, I'm not going to say the name because I will say the name when it is released. I don't want anybody to fall into the early access trap of this particular game, because it is so not ready for prime time that, like, I feel it'll do a disservice to this game that legitimately I think has some pretty solid bones, but I just don't know with it. But like, it's kind of clunky. And in fighting games, refining the engine is basically what the fighting game is about, right? I played G.I. Joe, The Wrath of Cobra, which released. I played it on release weekend. It apparently is a completely different game now. I cannot bring myself to reload into that game because of how awful my initial experience was with it.
Yeah,
like it's just a shame.
It's definitely the risk, right?
Yeah.
From both a consumer standpoint, like it's the risk you take if you want to be in the zeitgeist when the thing comes out is that thing at the moment nowadays may not be the complete package, right? So like, and so if you want to wait to make sure that they work out all the damn bugs and then you're getting the best experience, by the time that comes around, you may not be interested any longer. So from a developer standpoint, that's a really risky move. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Which, I guess this is where I want to end it. I finally played Star Fox on my Switch 2. And it's pretty great. I'm not going to lie. I still don't like the control scheme. I'm really bothered by the control scheme. Specifically the fact that there's no way to modify it. Like, even, like, on the hardware level, it seems they got rid of that ability. You have the gamer grips, so use those, right? You have the grip buttons. And I did map my, like, speed and brake to those grip buttons, which is cool, because I kind of feel like I'm a pilot now. Like, I'm just doing it all from my stick. I never use bombs in it, though, because I just don't want to take my finger off of the laser button and traverse all the way to the bomb button. And I know that's, like, ridiculous, whatever. But what I will say about that game is that my first playthrough, I went the hard path. And the hard path was so much easier on Switch 2. Because you can actually tell what is going on screen. And that has kind of been... I've recently been watching, like, teens react videos on YouTube, like Gen Zers or even, like, Gen Alpha playing NES games or Super Nintendo games.
That's some boomer tubing, but yeah, I know what you mean.
It's kind of fun, right? Like, you like learn the personalities of the kids. It kind of feels like Kids Incorporated, but instead of, like, or Zoom. Like, instead of, like, playing
you're
games
watching enough of them that you're
stuff,
starting to recognize the same kids over and over again?
I'm fairly certain that one of the kids, the teens who is reacting, is actually a witch, and she's devouring the souls of the children who don't make it from one video to the next.
Excellent.
That is, she's a sorceress, and she feeds on the souls to maintain her youthful appearance. This is for real. I'm not kidding about, like, this being a real theory that I have. But they played Star Fox in the Super Nintendo one, and like the biggest complaint from everybody, and it was my complaint. I remember playing Star Fox for the first time at a Caldor in Fitchburg, Massachusetts, on the like electronics like display unit, and being so excited to play Star Fox because like it's got the SFX chip and it's all this crazy stuff. And I remember playing and being like, that sucked. Like my walk away from Star Fox was, that sucked. And like there's a reason why I didn't buy Star Fox 64. I had it in my hand. I was at Walmart ready to buy Star Fox 64, and I could not shake that first experience with Star Fox on a Super Nintendo at a Caldor, and like, this game sucks. Like, this is not going to be better just because it's on the N64. I have issues with the N64. And that, I was only buying it because it was the only way to get a Rumble Pack, and I wanted the Rumble Pack for when Yoshi's Story came out a month later. And I'm like, I'm not just going to
I think I got the Rumble Pack with Donkey Kong 64, or was that the expansion?
That was the expansion pack, because it was the first game, or one of the first games that absolutely required the expansion pack to be played.
It was just so much information,
Yeah. I think also the expansion pack upped the RAM, so it was like more processing power to process the actual.
That's what
game.
I mean. Is it was they was processing so much more information at once that it required more everything, memory,
in order to do
power.
It. So
power,
crazy. I mean, you know what though? At the same time, it meant that the N64 didn't have like a mid-cycle refresh. You just had to spend $60 to get an expansion pack, or buy Donkey Kong for $60 and get an expansion pack alongside it. Like, I bought my expansion pack separate because I'm like, I see what this is going to do. And then when I got Turok 2 Seeds of Destruction that Christmas, I'm like, man, that was cool because you could play it without the expansion pack and with the expansion pack. So I got to like see the difference. And it was like night and day. Like it was really kind of cool. Oh man. But yeah, so Star Fox, it is like the visuals finally catch up with that game on the Switch 2. Like being able to identify all of the searchlights in Zonus felt kind of nice. It also feels slower in a way. Like because like there's not so much craziness going on screen. I feel like the R-Wing is super slow. But that's me. But I played Star Fox, right? So I did that. I'm not buying Splatoon Raiders. I know I sent you an image of my ability to potentially purchase Splatoon Raiders because it was out on the shelf 4 days before release.
Stupid.
And I took them all and I put them behind the counter in the electronics department. And I'm like, hopefully somebody will understand why this happened. But like, you should not just be out on the floor. Though, I don't know if this is happening near you. All of the electronics departments at Targets are getting a refresh to basically get rid of physical video games.
Physical media entirely, pretty much. And that's not just Target. There's a whole bunch of stores out here that are doing that. It's feeling like the Best Buy culling just on a larger scale. I remember the first time I walked into a Best Buy after they had basically gotten rid of their DVD section. It was like a whole totally different store to me at that point.
I have no reason to go to Best Buy now. Like, I'll just be honest with you. And like, as somebody who worked at Best Buy, they were very vocal with us, right? Because I was in that media department, right? CDs, DVDs, and video games. That was my domain. They were very honest about like, this is our bring-in. This is our bait to get people to come to Best Buy. And then
they're the loss leader.
Yeah, they're the loss leader. Exactly. And that's, without that, it's like, who goes to fucking Best Buy now? There's no reason to go there at all.
Yeah, no. I only go there if in my research looking for a thing, they just happen to be the store that it comes up. I don't go looking at Best Buy first, but I'm not like morally opposed to walking into one.
Right,
so
exactly.
If I find out that something's there, I'll go get it. But it's not like I go to Best Buy to see what they've got this week. That just doesn't happen.
I mean, prior to my separation from Best Buy, because it was a bad separation. I worked there the summer before my sophomore year. So the summer before I met Sejohn, right? In college. And, you know, when at URI Theater, when you're a stage manager, that stuff just happened. I was taking the stage management class. You had to stage manage a show for the stage management class. God, when I think about it, they took advantage of us so hard in that. Sorry. It didn't even feel like learning. It just felt like, here's bodies. Sorry. I'm losing my voice here because we're going into 2 hours and we're about to wrap it up. Don't worry, people. And I went into Best Buy and I'm like, look, you guys know I'm in school. They have me stage managing this thing. I'm going to need I can finish the 2 weeks that I'm scheduled for, but then if I could have the next 2 weeks off, I can return to working here by the middle of October. And they're like, no, you're fired. And I'm like, oh, okay. Thank you for that. And the store manager, I thought you'd be more dedicated to Best Buy. And it's like, why would I be dedicated to this retail store? What are you talking about? I'm 19 years old.
Well, especially offering to come back eventually, that's more dedication than anybody they probably had.
Yeah.
Hey, I do want to keep the spot open because I do want to come back and work here. That is dedication.
Yeah.
I have to go to school because that's always going to be the priority.
I work here so I can go to college. And I'm also not saying I can't work these 2 weeks I'm already scheduled. I'm going to work all of the dates I'm currently scheduled for, but then I will need 2 weeks off. So I'm giving you 2 weeks off for what is essentially and I wasn't working 40 hours a week. If I worked more than 24 hours in a week, it would be crazy. I generally worked the weekends. What are you doing?
So crazy.
And he's that dedicated. I thought you'd be more dedicated to Best Buy. And I'm like, well, no, I'm dedicated to my education because I'm 19. If I were a 40-year-old dude, maybe you could say that to me if I'd been working here for 30 years. I've worked here for 4 months. And I'm trying to, work with you guys. Because I enjoyed the job.
To be clear, I am very much of the mindset that you can work at a place for 50 years and you don't owe them shit.
Oh, of course. No, I'm talking, I am certainly there now, but for him to say that to me as a 19-year-old kid who'd worked there for 4 months, what fucking dedication do I owe you? I don't think I've even gotten a raise over minimum wage in the time that I've worked here. You've given me nothing and you expect everything from me? I don't want to be it's one of the things that galvanized me to exactly what you just said. 5 weeks or 50 years, you don't owe anything to that fucking company. Right?
Yeah, hey man, what radicalized you? I know. I get it.
Yeah, exactly. But then the assistant manager was like, so he's ridiculous. Here is my card. When you're done with it, give me a call. I would gladly hire you back. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm not going to do that, though, because that guy will still be here. And he's like, yeah, but if he's not, we could talk, right? And I'm like, oh, what do you know? That, you're willing to make this deal with me. I ended up getting a better job after the stage management stuff, so I didn't go back to Best Buy. But it was kind of nice that someone in the room was like, oh, hey, by the way, he's a fucking moron. Here you go.
Yeah, man.
All right. I think that's good. I think that's it. Anything else you want to make sure we talk about this week? I have no idea what I'm going to title this episode, right? After everybody that I know in the real world came up to me and gave me attaboys for calling an episode the Sherlock Pubes Report. I have to be honest with you. That's a real thing that happened most of last week. Was yeah, fuck YouTube censorship. You're going to call it what it is. And I'm like, yeah, I guess. Thumbs up.
Yeah, I mean, YouTube censorship depends on you needing YouTube for anything.
We don't.
We don't.
We just don't. So yeah. So anything else though? Because I mean, it's been a good conversation. I've really enjoyed this. I've missed you. I'm glad to be back here with you. Especially, I mean, this is the 3rd to 500 Sejohn. We need to actually talk now that you have a working telephone and things.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, there's a couple of things we got to talk about. Don't worry, but maybe we can make a plan sometime this week. Do some production work.
Ooh, look at that! Like being like real people.
Yeah. But no, we're good.
All right, cool. Excellent. So thank you so much for joining us for this episode of the Say Report. If you want to keep the conversation going, you can join our Discord. Invitations to join are available wherever we are on social media, which as of this recording is Facebook and X, formerly Twitter. Navigate to the About section. You'll see a Discord link. Click it, and it will allow you to join the Discord where there can be so much fun to be had. But if you're not on social media and you want to join, just shoot an email to thesayreport@gmail.com. We can facilitate you with a link to join. Or if Discord is too much like social media for you, which is something that we've kind of been toying with at the Say Report for a few months now, you can just send us emails to thesayreport@gmail.com and we will respond to you there. The most important thing if you're going to send us emails, if it's for me, Devin Decker, or it's for him, Sejohn Sarwick, just put our first name in the subject line and we'll distribute it appropriately. Just remember, if you say something to one of us and we think that it's worth talking about on the show, like literally all the attaboys I got about Sherlock pubes, we're going to talk about it on the show. You are submitting something to a content creation program, and if it's worth discussing on the show, we're going to talk about it. Just keep that in mind, right? Be safe on the internet. The new season of King of the Hill came out this past week. I haven't finished it yet. That's why we didn't really talk about it in this episode. But in the 3rd episode, Hank Hill got fished online. He got scammed, and I feel so bad for Hank Hill. So, like, don't be like Hank Hill in the 15th season of King of the Hill. Don't get scammed. Understand that the information that you put out there on the internet, people can access it and people can take advantage of you using it. Also, if I'm calling you, it's probably an AI chatbot. I just want you to know that. I'm not going to call and be like, help, I'm in jail. I have one person I call when I'm in jail, and they know who they are. And then I touched his nose and he flew out the chimney. I love you, Santa Claus. Thank you for everything. All of that said, as I've just lost my mind in the last moment of the show. Thanks again for listening, and William, please bring us home. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Say Report with your host Devin Decker and Sejohn Sarwick. Please follow the guys on Twitter and Facebook by searching for The Say Report, and you can always subscribe on your podcast channel so this is delivered straight to you and you can enjoy it every week. With apologies to your mother, we'll see you next time.